Hello, this is Randy. Thank you for joining me again for another edition of Brain Break with Randy and Keitho. I wanted to tell about how different things were when I was younger. I believe when I became 8 years old, I was given a pocket knife as part of Cub Scouts. And I carried that knife everywhere I went, even to school. It was okay because my friends had pen knives too. They were just small little knives. I think mine had 3 blades. We used them for all kinds of things. Even during lunch, or if we had free play at recess, we'd grab a twig and whittle. As far as I know, nobody ever got hurt with those little knives. We certainly never pulled them out as a weapon or tried to harm each other with them. We just had knives. It was part of growing up. When I became a missionary and was going to Venezuela, I was told to bring a knife with me, that it would be helpful for fruit and vegetables that I would buy during the day. They were right. There was a lot of tropical fruits down there that you needed to use a knife on. I did, and happily. My first apartment in a city called Maracay, we lived in an apartment building. We eventually moved into the chapel, which wasn't really a chapel. It was just a large house. They call it a quinta down there. But my companion and I into this apartment building. At the bottom floor, as we would walk out every day, there was a fruit vendor who imported fruit from the United States. Every single day, he would give us something from the United States. It could have been an apple, it could have been a peach, a pear, a nectarine, but every day he gave us each some fruit. It was very nice of him because while tropical fruit was available everywhere, the American fruit he was importing from the United States and Chile and places like that wasn't available anywhere else that I knew of. And he just would always look out for us. He was a very kind man, very generous. He was actually a little disappointed when we moved. I was too, because I enjoyed that nice fresh fruit that he had for us. But we would buy things like papaya, mango. I remember bananas were treated more like trading stamps. Based on how much fruit you bought, they would send you home with bananas. More than once, we would carry whole branches of bananas like you see them hanging on the tree, not just a little bunch, but a huge bunch. One of us would just put that over our shoulder and carry it to where we were living, and then we would hang it. The houses actually had hooks in the kitchens so you could hang your bananas. Papaya, when I was in Venezuela, the ones we see here are small. I mean, a big one here is about this big, but down there, we're talking feet. If you ever get a chance to see a papaya tree, they're the funniest trees I've ever seen because they look like just a stick coming out of the ground with a few leaves on top, and the papaya grows straight out from it. I don't know how it does it, but it does. When you cut open a papaya, it's got these round little seeds that you just get rid of them. But boy, papaya is amazing. I really enjoyed the opportunity to eat foods that I can't regularly get here because they're not available to us year round like they are down in South America and Central America. But anyway, knives were something that I carried. I never thought anything about it. I was never told anything was wrong about it. It wasn't until I got work after college and I started going into places that were secured that they started asking me about guns and knives. Guns first, and then knives. You see, in my job, I would go into prisons and places like that. So if I was going to go into a prison, I had to go to the local police department or the sheriff's office and turn my gun in and have it locked. Couldn't even be in my vehicle in case my vehicle got stolen. So I would do that. And but one time I went to a mine and they wanted me to turn my weapon to them, and they found a form, blew the dust off of it, and then I looked at who was also in the mine that day, and it was two guys on the list of several. And these two guys I went shooting with on a regular basis. It's just a strange world. They hadn't been asked, I guess, or said they didn't have weapons, but they did. But you never know. When I was traveling like that throughout Arizona and I didn't fly all the time, I had a little fishing rod and tackle box that I kept in the trunk. And there were some lakes near some of the towns I would go to that I knew there was really good fishing there. So I would plan to spend, an hour before I would drive to my next destination after the side of the lake and fish. I thought I'd become a fly fisherman, and I learned how to tie flies and learned how to do fly casting and everything, but I never really had time to get good at it. But it was fun to learn. So anyway, that's my story about knives. Knives were rather commonplace when I was growing up. I'm not talking about big knives, but knives that we carried around that we could use to, you could use it to open an envelope. You could use it to whittle. Just things that boys do. They weren't considered dangerous, and we never would have threatened each other with them anyway. So anyway, things have changed. Like I say, we used to carry knives. Thank you so much for joining me. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I look forward to visiting with you again on the next episode of Brain Break with Randy and Keitho. Please tell your friends about us, like and subscribe. I love your comments too. Thank you.